Batchu kind of throws me off the rails with a non-Sonic question. How weird. We've seen new starters, Zozura and Zozorag, new environments and gameplay, and now the cover art legendaries. Do you plan on getting Pokemon Black or White? Not really asking for which one specifically, just wondering if you plan on getting one at all. Yes, I have them pre-ordered. My wife's getting one and I'm getting the other, so we're going to be Pokemoning all over the place. Ochan asks, since Mammoth Mogul's arc, Sonic made a comment about beating Scratch and Grounder in his childhood. I took it as a once-off remark of Sonic just being sarcastic, but since then he made another remark about beating Badniks in his childhood in the latest new comic book day issue. And in the latest Sonic Universe, the end of the Journey to the East arc, we had Tails' remark about being more of a kid during the Tails miniseries. I'm beginning to wonder if this is a retcon of the characters being much younger than their current ages in the earlier comic days, pre-Endgame, since I was led to believe beforehand that only up to a year and a half or so had passed in the comic since issue number 0. This, I wouldn't call it a full-on retcon, but it is a light massaging of the continuity, just to explain away some of the silliness of the earlier years as the Freedom Fighters being a little younger, a little more childish in how they tackled the brightly colored and not as sinister Badniks. It's not a perfect retcon, which is why we're not really heavily enforcing it, but it's more along the lines of, since it was an earlier time, they were at an earlier stage of their lives, so to speak. So I wouldn't go completely rereading the early issues with a new mindset, but it's something that we're kind of toying with. Claire Silver 47 asks, of all the things in the world, comics, games, books, animations, computers, arts, which do you prefer the most and why? And I'm going to have to answer with, what? Because that's really, really broad. I mean, do you mean just as a form of entertainment? Because we have to narrow it down what kinds of books, what types of animations, what kind of media off the computer, what type of art in particular, like sculptures or paintings or what have you. It's just way, way too broad of a net cast there. I will say that I spend more time seeking out entertainment with the computer and through video games, if that'll answer you sufficiently. Purple Cupcakes asks, is Hope Kintabor keeping in contact with anyone she knew from Knothole, or has she pretty much cut all ties with the Republic of Acorn? She hasn't contacted a lot of people. If you check out the Sonic blogs, you can actually find a letter she wrote to Rosie. Now, whether or not she actually sent that letter, or whether or not we're going to treat it as canon within the book, is yet to be seen. But there's a broader thing, there's a greater plan behind all that. My Name is of No Importance asks, does Scourge have any sort of inherent mystical barrier like Sonic's constant ring barrier? That is a very good question. I hadn't really considered it. He might have something of a protective aura to him since he's able to go toe-to-toe with Sonic now that he's Scourge. Probably isn't of the exact same nature since Sonic got his through the hard work of gathering up all the rings, but that might be something to look into in the future. If Only Love Was Real asks, will there be anything about Amy's family this year? That was back in May of 2010, so no. I'm also going to go ahead and say no for 2011. Ever the Forward Thinker, Adamus asks, are we going to see new characters this year or in 2011? Good question. In Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Universe. Conquering Storm was a really nice surprise. No, I don't think we're going to have any new characters this year. That doesn't mean we're not going to see some new interpretations of older characters. TCIII, or Tiki, asks, sorry if someone already asked this, but if you can share, are there any plans for Naugus coming up? See, they asked this back in May. If I had answered it then, I would have had to say, I don't know, we'll see. But now I can say, yes! Big plans! Big plans! Mwahaha! Big plans. Orion 101 asks, I have a question about Lightning Links and his power set. Are his super senses, like his super hearing, sense of smell, and feeling vibrations of the ground, something that all Raiju clan members have, or are they powers unique to him, like his super speed? The powers are unique to him, not to say that, the ninjas are a slouch or anything, but his incredible senses and sense of speed are all unique to him. Stay tuned. There will be more on that later. Sonic Ray asks, in the past, some fans have called Sonic's sidekick, Miles, Tails Prower, and the main villain, Ivo Eggman Robotnik. Would it be fair if we were to call the purple weasel Knack Fang the Weasel? I hope we see him again soon. Well, obviously, he showed up in Treasure Team Tango, so that is fairly soon at this point. Not back in May when this was asked. Fang really hasn't been used as a nickname for him in the book yet. We've put little nods to it here and there when he shows up in the little character ID at the beginning of the comic, but I don't know if you could call him Fang in the same regards as Miles is Tails or Eggman is Robotnik. Or vice versa, Robotnik is Eggman. I'm going to get some angry emails for that one. Anyway, you can call him Fang if you want to. I mean, the fandom can call him whatever they want. They can call him Snuggle Happy Unicorn Man if they want to. Glaber asks, when did the submarines that were scuttled in Endgame get dredged up and repaired? I thought you weren't going to use them based upon previous answers to my questions about them. They were sometime either dredged up or built anew from scratch in the year or so between Endgame and now. Two-Tailed asks, if a second writer came onto the Sonic books, how do you think that would play out overall? Well, the editor would manage both my and the new writer's ideas, and I would try to coordinate with the new writer as best I could, so that we told the best comic that could be told, and drawn, and read. And I'm really butchering the English language. Can you tell that we're on page 6 of 12, everybody? I'm going to cut down on Keeperbot's post here and get straight to the question. As many know, in the games and Sonic X anime, Rouge the Bat had a crush on Knuckles the Echidna. But what about the comics? Once you became the scenario writer, you had some hints that Rouge had plans for Knuckles. But what is the motivation for her actions? Is it all just to get the Master Emerald, or does she really have a crush on Knux, or is it just like the Japanese canon? I hate to say it, but I can't really answer this one because we haven't gotten as far along as I would have liked. Originally, I planned on the Rouge Julie Sue Knuckles thing to be played upon more, and plans haven't worked out exactly as I planned. I will get back to it eventually, so all I can say for right now is just be patient with me.